What's red and bad for your teeth? A brick. What do you get when you cross a bunny and a Rottweiler? Just the Rottweiler. I was going to tell a dead baby joke, but I decided to abort. I asked a pretty young homeless woman if I could take her home. She smiled, a tear in her eye, and she said yes. The look on her face changed, however, when I walked off with her cardboard box. I was digging in my garden and I found a chest full of gold coins. I was so excited I just about ran inside to tell my wife, but then I remembered why I was digging in the garden. My grandfather said that I'm way too dependent on technology. I called him a hypocrite and unplugged his life support. Don't break someone's heart. They only have one of them. Break their bones instead. They have 206. What's black and sticks to a tree? A peeping Tom after a forest fire. You know, I really hate double standards. If you burn a body at a crematorium, you're just being a respectful friend. But if you burn a body at home, you're destroying evidence. A man walks into the woods with a young boy. After a little while, the boy turns to the man and says, "Hey, mister, it's getting really dark out and I'm getting scared." The man replied, "How do you think I feel? I have to walk back alone." Today was a terrible day. My ex got hit by a bus, and I lost my job as a bus driver. So little Jimmy's friends in school told him that most adults have some dark secrets, and you can blackmail them pretty easily by just going up to them and saying, "I know the whole truth." So, little Jimmy tries it out at home. He goes up to his mom and says, "I know the whole truth." She promptly gives him $20 and says, "Don't tell your father." Little Jimmy, pleased with himself, goes to his father and says, "I know the whole truth." His father gives him $40 and says, "Whoa, please don't tell your mother." Very happy with himself, he next notices the mailman. So he goes up to the mailman and says, "I know the whole truth." The mailman promptly drops all the mail, throws his arms out and says, "Jimmy, come here and give Daddy a big hug." You ever had one of those moments where you're driving through a school zone and you hit that speed bump really hard, but then you realize that schools don't have speed bumps? A wife asked her husband why he cheated on her. He said, "She was just laying on the table naked. What was I supposed to do?" His wife replied, "Perform the fucking autopsy." Wasn't planning on going for a run today, but those cops came out of nowhere. Two kids were beating up another kid in an alley. I stepped up to help. That kid didn't stand a chance against the three of us. My family is like treasure. You need a map and a shovel to find them. Fishing and girlfriends are exactly the same. There might be a lot of fish in the sea, but until I find one, I'm stuck holding my rod. "I'm sorry" and "I apologize" mean the same thing, except at a funeral. Kids in the back seat make accidents, and accidents in the back seat make kids. Genders are a lot like the Twin Towers. There used to be two of them, but now it's a sensitive subject. I'd tell a joke about my abusive dad, but I only remember the punchline. A father and a daughter were at a park. A father and a daughter were at a park. She accidentally killed a butterfly, and her father said, "Because you killed that butterfly, you're not going to get butter for an entire week." The next day when they came to the park, the daughter went and stepped on a cockroach. The father laughed and went, "Nice try." I bought my blind friend a cheese grater for his birthday. A week later, he told me that was the most violent book he's ever read. Why can't you fool an aborted fetus? Because it wasn't born yesterday.
What part of a vegetable can't you eat? The wheelchair.
I read this caption in the paper the other day. It said, "In the time it takes you to read this sentence, 20 people have died of hunger." And then I thought to myself, how the hell do they know how fast I can read? So I read it again. Only now I've killed 40 fucking people! Have you ever walked by a place and thought, man, if I went in there, I'd get laid? I get that feeling all the time because I live next to a prison. I bought a car last week. Well, by bought, I mean poisoned, and by car, I mean my neighbor's dog. How do you stop a lawyer from drowning? Shoot him before he hits the water. Today marks yet one more day that I've survived being suicided by the Clintons.
You gotta say I love you back.
Dad, are you serious?
I wanna hear it.
You want to hear me
I
say
love
it?
you, Dad.
You're dropping me off out of
I
school?
love you, Dad.
Look at this place.
Dad, I love you.
Dad, I love you.
Why is being in the military a lot like a blowjob? Because the closer you are to discharge, the better you feel. What should you do if your girlfriend starts smoking? Slow down and possibly use lubricant. What does a good bar and a good woman have in common? Liquor in the front and poker in the back. Why does the Easter Bunny hide his Easter eggs? Because he doesn't want anyone to know he's been fucking chickens.